if you guys were not aware, which all of this happened um, when I was young, I was a kid at the time when LeBron James was announcing his decision. Because if I'm not mistaken, LeBron James went to the Heat roughly what 2000 and 2010, 2009, 2010. And in the ad, he was wearing his old outfit from when he made the first decision, and the decision is one of the most pivotal moments in the history of sports. It is widely known as that. So LeBron James, if you guys, if you're not aware, a lot of people were many speculating his retirement, and people were buying up tickets to go see him play like opening night. I got here, the cheapest ticket was $445 when at first originally it was $85. So there was a $300 plus price increase on tickets just because LeBron James possibly teasing his retirement. But as we are all aware, that obviously was not the case. LeBron James, it was an advertisement for his partnership with Hennessey. And what can I say? Was this a bad look for LeBron James? Was it a good idea? I saw Stephen A. This morning. Steve, it's hard to take anything. You got to kind of take what Stephen A. says now with LeBron James with a grain of salt because of the histrionics that they have between the two right now with their whole beef. I had a pleasant time myself covering it. But let's just put them to the side. Let's just give me I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to give my full interpretation of this. Number one, let me say this. I knew he wasn't going to retire. And if anything, and I'll discuss it anyways. I'll discuss that later on. Let's just start with this. I didn't think he was going to retire. I really didn't. I think when LeBron retires, I think it is going to be, he's going to make it like a celebration. I think LeBron will announce roughly, let's see, the preseason started now in October. I think after the NBA Finals, roughly in August, I think LeBron will go ahead and announce that this upcoming season is going to be his last season. And I do think that LeBron's got 2 years left, max. I think after this year, next season is going to be it. He's going to pull a Kobe Bryant. He's just going to announce it, and he's going to be celebrated. And I think LeBron James deserves that, and I think it's going to be the smart thing to do on his end. Now, I thought, and you got two lenses to look at this. In one lens, it was absolutely phenomenal marketing by LeBron James. Absolutely phenomenal. Just the idea of the price jump from $445 for the cheapest ticket from $85. And there's no telling how much money the Lakers could have made off of the tickets for opening night at the Laker game. After this ad and all the stuff going on, there's no telling how much revenue. I would love to see the money that they make, what they're going to make off that night game with the prices they have now in comparison to like last year's opening game, and just compare the two, or just maybe just compare their like average highest accumulation of money they made off tickets, off of a big game that they, or a random game in the middle of the season. I would love to see the price differences between the two, because a jump from 445, a jump from 85 to 445 is absolutely crazy. Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss and all them, the Buss family, everyone who is in partnership with the Lakers. And I think, am I not mistaken? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Lakers are in the process of are they getting sold? Or did they already get sold? I'm not quite 100% sure. But either way, everyone involved with ownership, anyone who has a stake right now in the Lakers are like, thank you, LeBron. But in the other lens, let's think about it in this lens. Let's think about the consumer. LeBron, Come on, bro. Come on, bro. And y'all know me. I'm not going to kill the man. Granted, y'all, if you're not aware, I'm like one of the biggest LeBron James absolute haters that you can find. I am not a LeBron James guy. I am Michael Jordan till I die. You could probably say I'm Stephen A 2.0 when it comes to LeBron. I just absolutely despise LeBron. I don't like anything about LeBron. I respect him and I thank him for everything that he's done in the league. And I respect him as a player, but as a person and an individual, I'm just not. I was never a fan. Never have been a fan. And I'm not a fan to this day. But from a consumer standpoint, LeBron, you're not doing the NBA fan any favors. I saw where Jamel Hill, and she's another person I despise. She was commenting on the ticket prices, and she was complaining about, everybody complaining about cheap tickets, and nobody wants to go to a WNBA game. First of all, Jamel Hill, no, let me just shut my mouth before I get myself in trouble. We're not going to go down that road. Jamel Hill was essentially complaining about ticket prices and how everybody don't want to go to games now because of ticket prices. LeBron, nobody wants to go watch you play when you're not like, there's going to be no special celebration or anything like that. Nobody wants to watch you play for $448 or $445, excuse me, in the nosebleeds, bro. Nobody wants to go watch the Lakers on whatever night they're playing, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whenever, Friday night. I don't know what date opening night is. I imagine it's normally like on a Tuesday or maybe even a Friday. I don't know. But nobody in Tinseltown, Los Angeles, California. I don't know why I just said California like that. But anyways, you get the gist. Nobody wants to watch in the nosebleeds. Granted, I've never been to Crypto.com Arena. I rather call it Staples Center. Nobody has been to the Crypt. Shout out Shannon Sharp. Nobody wants to go to the Crypt and watch the Lakers play for absolutely just a regular game for $445 in the nosebleeds. And granted, as much as with the taxes and stuff, where everything, the inflation that is on another level out there in Los Angeles, this is just an extra slap in the face to an average fan who just wants to go watch a ball game. Opening night, I don't even know who the Lakers play opening night, but that's another lens to look at. It's kind of like, LeBron, it probably wasn't a smart idea just for your fan base, just for the average football, for the average basketball fan's point of view. Now, let's get to another idea that I thought about as well when I was thinking about this. If anything, I thought this could have possibly been a trade. Because I've covered it before, and we all remember the article that came out by Shams Charania to where, and I'm paraphrasing here, Shams was pretty much saying and conveying that LeBron James will open the door to want to leave Los Angeles if they didn't improve the roster, and basically if they cannot contend for a championship in the West. That was pretty much paraphrasing what LeBron James was going to do in this upcoming season. And there was a whole lot of stuff going on as well about, LeBron doesn't have the best trade value, this and that old type of thing. There's a whole lot of stuff going on with that as well. But we're not going to get into that. But let's just think about it. This is my other argument. I thought, if anything, it could have been a trade because of what I just stated. But when you look around the league, why would you want to leave? This is a Lakers roster. Granted, the Lakers are not the best roster of all time. You got Luka Doncic. You got rid of Anthony Davis, which I don't know if that is going to be able to be a long-term fantastic decision by the Lakers. But let's just give a quick look at this roster. You got DeAndre Ayton, which is a guy who was pretty good for the Suns at the time when they were making that finals push with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So that is a big that you really needed, and it's somebody that you really ideally would have loved to have gotten with Anthony Davis, so Anthony Davis could play the four. But you get a big man for Luka Doncic, which is part of Luka Doncic's game, to where you're able to get, the pick and play type action that Luka Doncic likes to play with your big. So you get that big in DeAndre Ayton. Of course, you got Luka. Rui's still there. Jackson Hayes, Maxi Kleber, Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, Marcus Smart, which is another ball handler that you add to the ball club, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and that pretty much rounds up your starting roster. You got some G League players here like Bronny James, and they're obviously not going to be on the team. So there's your roster. This is not a roster right now that I can arguably say that is going to contend. Because when you just look, mind you guys, when you just look at the West, and I'm trying to look up some teams here. This thing is not letting me want to. I'm over here trying to. I'm trying to look up something in the NBA, but I guess I'll have to do it this way. Just give me 1 second. Let's just think about some teams here. Well, you got teams in your own conference. You have teams like the Mavericks. When they have, ideally, a top three, one of the top 3, top 5 teams to be able to contend. When you got Anthony Davis, you got Kyrie. He's going to be back at one point off your ACL. You got Daniel Gafford, Cooper Flagg, your number 1 overall pick. Derek Lively. You got all those players. That's the Mavericks. What about the Spurs? Wemby, De'Aaron Fox. They're going to be a 1-2 combo, and you got that draft pick that they got as well. And I think it's Ron Harper's son. Cannot quite remember the kid's name, but they say he could be possibly a stud. And you got that to worry about. You got the Houston Rockets with Kevin Durant. And granted, they lost Fred VanVleet. That is a huge hit for them. And you got to worry about Jokic and Jamal Murray and the different Nuggets. The defending NBA Finals champs in Shea and the Oklahoma City Thunder. You got to think about my man, Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards down there in Minnesota. They're going to be a problem. You can't never count on the Warriors and Steph Curry. That's my team. That's one of my favorite teams to watch. So in your own division, I think all of those teams themselves stack up better against the Lakers. Maybe not the Warriors, but definitely I think the Mavericks, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the Thunder right now as we speak, off the top of my head, are better rosters right now than the Lakers. So that's 5 teams. So granted, you got 5 more extra spots because now the play-in, you get 10 teams. So if you're a 10 seed, you have a chance to compete for a play-in. So you're in that type of realm of playoff contention. But when you think about that, why would you leave? The only reason why that you would possibly want to leave is if you could get on a team like the New York Knicks or the Minnesota Timberwolves, go back to Cleveland, or possibly Orlando. Those are the teams that I think that could give up the compensation enough to be able to want to trade for LeBron James. But in my opinion, it's just better to stay in LA for the fame, for the marketing opportunities, and you pretty much get to play with a superstar in Luka Doncic. I don't think LeBron James is going to end his career off and compete for a championship in LA. If LA wants to compete for a championship, they got to make a lot of moves at the trade deadline. But he's not going to leave LA. He's going to end his career in a Lakers uniform. It's in the best interest. His son's still there as well. I think that's possibly another factor to reason why he's not going to leave. And this is just, in the end, this is just LeBron being LeBron. Stephen A says this is the only way that he can be, what's the word, that he can get the headlines still be, what's the word I'm looking for? Still be the talk of the town, so to speak. But I don't want to go that far and say that. I still think LeBron James, even without this, is still relevant, and he's still the best basketball player in the NBA. But there's positives and negatives to the Hennessey ad, and there's my perspective on that.